And ladies and gentlemen, that's the cue that it's time for game 2 of '07 versus KSC. KSC winning the first battle. Remember, this is a best of 5. This is for first place going into the the International Finals 2 weeks from now, right? So we've got for KSC, Kremlin, Ohio. For cruisers, we've got Salem, Moskva, Stalingrad, and then for destroyers, we've got 5. There's Aussie Zeus and the Shimakaze. We've seen him doing a lot of work so far today. We've got Marceau, another Marceau, and there's Flow Ops in the Z52.
You just can't unhear that. You just can't unhear that now that Bogsy's put that in your head, Zeph.
I can't let it go. It's such a it's a term of endearment. At this point.
Spawning to the southeast, 07 coming with double Ohio. That's Marin and Peyton. Fronted by Des Moines, Salem, and Stalingrad. Their destroyers double gearing and double Marceau. Now, we've seen KSC play this map. In fact, we saw this map played yesterday, didn't we? We did. These teams played this map yesterday in the one game that KSC took off of 07 out of that series, Zach.
Yes, they had a death nail. 07 sent a death nail to A, and they found essentially nobody.
Yes.
Now, this time around, KSC looks like they're playing a very similar game with Aussie Zeus going to A and Danny Loves' Ohio. But this time, there's only one cruiser that's with Frice's gearing as opposed to 2. And, of course, you got Peyton backing him up. So this move isn't going to be as effective for KSC as it was yesterday.
Indeed, it won't be. We're seeing basically the same deployment across the B cap. That's Z52 for KSC and a Stalingrad. Married off
Triarch took a torpedo.
That's right. Triarch took a Z52 torpedo. I was just about to point that out. That tells me that Floops has got his radio position location running, because yesterday Triarch didn't use that particular position. He was at the southern end of that island, down in about G6. Today, he's in F7 in that little gap, trying to kind of contest the cap. But now, Floops is radared, I guess, and lit.
Yes.
He's lit somehow. Yep.
Ace baby. Stalingrad radar. Triarch now on radar as well. But because of the radar delay, Triarch is going to come away winning that exchange.
Indeed. Ohio shells coming in looking for Floops, but nothing doing. So a little bit of back and forth across B. Go ahead.
Over at C, we had both Marceaus get detected for a moment. They didn't, nobody really shot, just kind of like a little back and forth action. But it's interesting seeing Coop heading away from C cap now, and Serpent is by himself. I don't know that I like this decision to split the Marceaus like that.
Well, Serpent is lit, and Pieces opened fire on him. Eagle Lance spotted him, because I'm presuming that Eagle is probably running unique upgrade gearing, which would give him a 5-6 detection, so he would handily outspot that Marceau. Now, we saw Serpent Lord yesterday make a really big play over here on the 10 line, right? Down at about D10, able to charge a Salem and torpedo him off the board. But you see the 07 Salem here, that's Elgar, declining that position this time, playing much more conservatively back along the 9 line in D9.
Taka Hiyoshi getting smacked in that Moskva. It seems 07 really likes punching him. But I think that was. I think it's
the Stalingrad. No, I think it's Ace's Stalingrad. Maybe, I'm not sure.
Oh, we just followed Marin's shells in, but before that he got punched by something else, and I think that was Peyton's Ohio. You can see the spotting plane is up.
Oh my!
And here comes another salvo. Here comes another salvo. I can see it glinting in the sky.
Oh yeah, I see it now.
Coming in.
That one's gonna miss. Marin's salvo lands home for a overpen. The Ohio salvo misses. Sorry, the other salvo, Peyton's salvo, misses.
Right. Meanwhile, the shoving Moskva up to the safety island with the radar is going to push Eagle Lance back just a little bit. That might give Serpent Lord enough wiggle room to get into the cap and take it, because Eagle Lance might not want to back into it just yet. More shells coming out of Atake, though.
Farmed. Yeah, he's being mercilessly farmed here. They've easily identified him as an early opportunity target given his current health.
Mm-hmm.
He's trying to find a position where he can maybe back off a bit, maybe get some hard cover. Not sure who's spotting him right now exactly.
That would probably be Eagle Lance.
Have to be Eagle Lance, yeah, but he's about to break that line of sight, I think. Yeah, no, he hasn't yet. He finally just does go dark right there.
I think he was shooting too, and it's a possibility if he's got range mod that something else was even farther out that could detect him. Either way,
Possibly.
he's gonna have to sit out the game for a little bit.
He
As
is. He's definitely in trouble.
KSC does pick up C as a result of this play, but it's quite costly.
Yeah, that's a huge price to pay just for picking up the 1 cap early. Floops
Loops
did
is
pick
in
up
B.
B. Yeah, he did pick up B, but they're pushing him out again.
Mm-hmm. Eagle Lance doing a nice job of rotating around.
Eagle's probably going to head back to C soon. At least that's my expectation.
Yep.
A, of course, going nowhere.
You got
Aussie
a butt
Zeus
wiggling contest at A.
sitting on the cap. A just sitting. Aussie just sitting on the cap, preventing that from going anywhere. So at the moment, KSC working about a 60-ish point lead here. They picked up C a little quicker. 07 now sitting on B. Both teams ticking up a cap.
That's right.
This
look at Fryce continuing to back up. He's really tempting fate here.
Well, he knows they know now the Shimakaze is here. They've seen the torpedoes go by. They know it's Aussie. And I also feel like, I mean, Fryce is probably in a unique upgrade gearing, which would mean that he and Aussie have the same detection. So it's not as if there's a big spotting advantage for the Shimakaze as there would ordinarily be if he weren't running the unique upgrade. Now, I'm making an assumption that he's running the unique upgrade, but it would make sense to me.
Right. Aussie deciding to stop there at this point. Daniel Loves is in a position to support should that gearing get detected. But really all the fighting's going on at sea as Dastard is down quite a bit now. And Serpent Lord might take a torpedo. He'll be okay.
What? Oh. What did I just witness? Did that go between his screws? Wow.
The torpedo?
Yes, I thought it hit him. I hit him in the stern. That was crazy.
In my angle, it didn't. So it might have been some desync action there. But
wow, maybe.
Regardless, talk about that sixth sense of when you need to hit the go button.
Seriously, Dastard definitely getting farmed mercilessly by Salem. That's Elgar and the Ragnar even burning nicely as he tries to get some island cover back up along the 10 line. Or excuse me, the A line.
Who's he shooting at? Triarch? Yeah.
No, I think he took a pot shot at Triarch, and the middle Triarch is spotted somehow.
He actually connected.
He did land one of those shells. He did indeed. He did indeed. 07 now owning A and B. I'm a little surprised to see them run Aussie off of the cap at A, but they must have used some smoke and pushed John up far enough. 07 closing the gap.
Yeah, I think I can see the radar icon. Let's zoom in a little bit and see. No radar icon right now, but they might have had it going for a while.
Floop's getting absolutely just beat up for trying to hold back the B cap here. They know exactly where Triarch is. He's under radar now. Man with an RX-7's radar is up hunting him, but nobody really has shots. The shots that are coming in on him are coming from Hatake's Moskva all the way up in the C cap. The only person taking shots at Triarch right now.
Look at this potential push setting itself up here from KSC. Shadow Wolfish in the Salem, Coop in the Marceau, all the way on the 10 line, wrapped around. They're waiting. I know what they're doing. They're waiting for the Kremlin, friend.
Shadow Wolfish is waiting to hopefully not take Marceau torpedoes.
I was just about to say that too.
Oh, I see. They're waiting for Dastard's appearance, and there he is, 60,000 HP strong, wrapping around the top of the cap.
Yes. Now, this is the point when you need Shadow to pop out to at least detect Elgar Salem, or you bring, Coop out to detect Elgar so that at the very least Dastard has a shot.
Maybe. Coop is lit right now. I'm not sure how precisely, but he was lit there for a moment.
Right.
Coop now moving up a bit. He's going to have eyes on Elgar in a moment, but when that happens, I expect him to get radared. Yep, he's got Elgar lit now. Both teams ticking up a cap. B is contested. KSC in a 40-point lead as we cross the halfway mark of the game.
fight is happening at such extreme edges of the map that I'm struggling to find a good camera angle.
Finding a good camera angle, because you can't. Maybe that's one of the things we ought to talk to Wargaming about, right? You can only take the camera so far off the edge of the map. That makes
Ooh.
it a bit challenging.
Eagle Lance got little smacked for his insolence of just
Yeah.
open water firing after Dastard.
They did put some damage into him, but Dastard is healing again, but he coughed up another 50, 40, 30 something thousand HP to get into this position.
Well,
And surely he knows these gearing torpedoes are on the way.
he's gonna cough up more. I'm surprised he's not really turning much.
No, he's gonna take 4 of these. That should end his game. Yeah, that's gonna end his game.
Oh goodness!
What a beautiful torpedo salvo from Eagle Lance.
All that for a chance at a shot.
Yeah.
Oh well.
Yeah. That flips the lead. 0-7 now. Both teams sticking up a cap. 0-7 on a 60-point lead. 9 minutes to play here in game 2.
Yeah, John the Ruthless doing a very nice job of dodging Shimakaze torpedoes and making it so that Aussie Zeus does not feel comfortable fighting against Frice or going into ACAP. And together, those two have completely locked out Danny and Aussie's play right there, really.
Yeah, but I mean, this cap is essentially a stalemate. Unfortunately, now down a ship, it's going to make KSC's job even harder to break back into B, because they really needed those Kremlin guns. And kudos to 0-7. They farmed a whole bunch of HP off Dastard as he kind of tried to get into that position. And the torpedoes sealed the deal. And yikes.
Yep. Floop's once again getting hammered. He's down under 6,000 hit points. So
yeah,
kudos to him for trying. But
they haven't been trading very well with Triarch. Every time Floops is spotted, Triarch seems to shave another 2,000 to 4,000 hit points off of him, and Triarch not really taking any damage in return for a while.
Yeah,
he knows that the one ship that I feel like is kind of being left out right now. Man with an RX-7 just doesn't feel like he's that useful in that position. Agree or disagree?
Well, the hard part about that position is you have to put somebody there so that you can cover the B cap with radar. The difficult part, though, is it's in such that position itself is, well, let's just face it, you're not going to really, you're not there to do damage. You're not there necessarily to put your guns in. So yeah, it feels that way, but I think it's kind of one of those, the way the map plays out and stuff, you just have to give that up. You just have to expect that the Stalingrad shell guns aren't going to be in position to help much. Now, he does actually have a shot on John the Ruthless's Des Moines. The problem is, John's not spotted. So, as a result, we just see Man with an RX-7 just trying to chip away at Peyton's Ohio.
So 2 things are happening right now on the KSC side of the board I want to talk about and point out. One is they've rotated Serpent Lord to B. So now they've got a much healthier destroyer asset in B who can afford to potentially get into a gunfight with Triarch and run him out of this cap. The other is they've moved Aussie over a line or two onto the 3 line, and he's now putting down 20-kilometer torps on Peyton's Ohio. So his most recent torpedo salvo not going south to the Des Moines, but going east towards the Ohio.
I kind of like this decision because
I do too. I like it a lot.
Frankly, he's whipped out what three walls of skill towards John the Ruthless, and John just says no. So why keep trying? I like the idea of mixing it up.
About to have a Marceau rumble on the south end of B. Zath is going to shape up here in seconds as Serpent Lord is about to edge around the bottom of this caldera. And right there, boom. So everybody's all spotted now.
Peyton's ready with that Ohio.
Triarch was already in the position to start firing his torpedoes in that direction. His RPF had kind of alerted him to the fact that somebody was there. They are going to be able to push Triarch off the cap. That ought to give them some breathing room. Is Triarch stopped or did he run aground? Oh, he just took a slow down there. Okay. Triarch is dark now.
Notice John the Ruthless now is in a brilliant position as Des Moines. He can just sit there and farm Serpent Lord.
He can indeed. Serpent is outside the radar range.
Look at this. 07 rotated their healthy Marceau in too.
Yeah, I like this. That's a really good move from Pizza to maybe try and bag the kill on Floops. In fact, Floops is radared. The next time Ace pulls the trigger, No, I'm sorry. Floops is not radar. My
No, that
apologies.
was Pizza. Pizza discovered him. I think Floops was too busy
Yeah.
looking south and
Yep.
didn't notice it.
Yep.
Almost paid for it with his life right there.
Oh, neither team can afford to lose a ship here. 5 minutes to play, a very tight game, 110-point lead for 07. KSC about to flip B, but I mean, they'll be able to close the gap, but with only 4 or 5 minutes, I'm not sure how much they're going to make up in that amount of time.
Yeah.
A kill for either team will be a huge victory.
Notice Shadow Wolfish, by the way, going to the inside of that island now. He's continuing to try to hammer anybody he can, really. Pieces of pizzas, Marceau. He's ready to maybe deal with Eagle Lance's gearing, but of course torpedoes are coming his way.
Eagle's doing a great job of staying just outside his radar range, too.
Yeah. Well, if he had a Des Moines, that might be a different story, huh?
Yeah, but he doesn't. That's the
No,
price
he
you pay
doesn't.
with Salem. You're stuck with the T-Rex radar. You got to make it work somehow.
That's right.
Ohio Shell's coming through the saddle looking for man with an RX-7. They've pushed him back far enough that Marin had a shot right through the middle of the board, but wasn't really rewarded. In fact, here comes the shot from Peyton.
Nope.
Still not the shot neither one of those guys are looking for. They're looking for the big impact Citadels, and that wasn't it.
No, frankly, I'm surprised it was that little, but hey, Shadow Wolfish dodging the torpedoes.
They're bringing Danny now into the middle of the board. What do you do with Danny Loves' Ohio position here, Zath? Do you drive him into B?
At this point, you got to do something decisive. There's only 3 minutes left in the battle. You absolutely cannot allow 07's battleships to come off with a kill. Danny is the only battleship left from Daster taking those 4 gearing torpedoes. So,
Ooh.
yeah, I kind of feel like they have to make a stand. They have to keep 07 uncomfortable enough to stay off of both of these caps.
It's not going to happen, Zath. Have a look at the bottom end of B. Pieces is coming in. Marin's Ohio right behind him. 07, all they have to do is contest this cap for 2.5 minutes, and they will win. They have about a 40-plus point lead here on Trap in Game 2.
Meanwhile, Aussie and Frice are still butt wiggling it out right here. They are still like butt to butt. Look at them. They're both chucking torpedoes at the opposite team.
Yeah.
The torpedoes are going to high-five each other in the water as they cross.
They need basically, in order to win now, KSC must secure a kill. 07 has contested B. A single kill will flip the lead. There's the radar from man with an RX-7. They want to know who's in the cap. Now they have that information.
Mm-hmm. And Coop might take a torpedo. In the same place where Dastard did.
Well, one won't kill him. Looks like he is. Yeah, he is. Not enough to kill him, though.
No, but nope, that didn't help. Okay. I was fixing to say no, but that won't help.
90 seconds to play. Both teams still in this game. If KSC can secure a kill, they will probably. If 07 can deny that kill, they will definitely win. They have the lead.
At which point, you need to tell your people, if you're KSC, go. We're losing this in a minute regardless. Go.
Look at these torpedoes from Aussie Zeus. He kind of luck chucked these into the cap. He's going to put 2 of them into Marin.
I see that.
That's going to give them a decent shot. They've got 60 seconds now to potentially try to burn down Marin here. Danny Loves driving into the B cap is now. Big rumble here in the middle of the board, shaping up in the final waning seconds of Game 2.
Kind of feel like at this point, Aussie just go try to fight it out with Frice. Keep him distracted. Eagle detected. Now, Eagle's at 6,000.
Yes.
He is detected.
Hataki's radar's gone up to pick up Eagle here as he runs south. He's right at the extreme edge of Hataki's range.
Eagle is actually getting some shells in.
Eagle is actually a bit low. This could be significant. Eagle under 1,000.
There that's it. They did it. They did it.
KSC flips the lead with 20 seconds to play. 07 has to bag a kill here if they want to win this game. The only person they have a shot at killing is Floops, and they have no way to see him. Look where he is, Zath. He's over on the 3 line.
I see that. Smart play by Floops.
There it was. The well-timed kill. The well-timed kill, KSC with the win.
Oh my goodness.
Goodness gracious, Saf. Now, it's funny, right? We talked about, we were joking about 07, dropping games and coming back with reverse sweeps earlier because they're kind of known for it. But
Yeah.
at the same time, right, this is the first time in the event that they have been down 2 games, right? They went down a game to AP way back in, I think, the top 8 or the top 16. They won their last 2 games, and then ever since then, they have led every series they have been in until now, right? They were down a
Until
game,
now.
obviously, and now they're down 2 games. Now they're every game is an elimination game now for 07 if they want to reclaim that champion title. What a great game that was.
Oh my God. Yeah. Oh my God. I don't know about you guys. I was, well, maybe we should bring our group back in and let's all talk about it together because, oh my goodness. Yeah. Turn your lights
Let's
back
do
on,
it.
Raptor.
Let's do it, baby.
And lo, the body of Dastard was offered to thy gods, and thusly the win was delivered in the end. What the hell?
That's the second time we've seen KSC lose a battleship early-ish, right?
Yeah.
And
Right.
then find a way to win. And I really think, I almost feel like I would actually love to go talk to them. And you'll be able to do this later, Eskance, but I would love to go ask them, be like, okay, guys, you didn't really know where the gearing was, but you knew that if you didn't get a kill in the last 30 seconds, this was over. So was it just push the button and find out and guess, or did you really know where he was?
Right.
I was staring at the Marceau and Bravo thinking, he's going to YOLO, right? He's going to
Yeah.
YOLO the Ohio, right? Hey, 2 Shimitorps hit him. He's going to YOLO the Ohio, right? And it kept not happening. I'm like, bro,
Yeah.
you're running out of time. There's no way to do this.
Yeah.
And then you started
gotta get a
talking
kill.
about some gearing getting hit. It's like, what?
Well, so that in there, what I was talking about, like when it's a minute to go, that's when everybody in KSC's got to think, all right, we're gonna lose this automatically. It's time to hit W. It's time to make something happen. Shadow Wolfish started moving forward. The Moskva, I can't remember his name off the top of my head, started moving forward. Hideki, who ended up
Hitaki Hiyoshi.
Hitaki, thank you, who ended up radaring the gearing, right, and securing that final win. That's because both of those ships started moving forward, and together with the other members of KSC, they recognized that they had a win condition right there. Kill this gearing, and you win. Don't kill the gearing, and you lose. I mean, how close is that? Razor's Edge, with 19 seconds to go, they secure the win.
Either kill the gearing and win, or as Eskance was saying, you have to YOLO a Marceau into that Ohio. But even then, you have to survive.
You have to
the
survive.
return fire from the Ohio, from the Marceau of Pizza, and from the Des Moines of John the Ruthless, who positioned himself very, very wisely in the position that he did. He didn't try to push up around the top. He said, no, I want to support the B cap because that's where the win is going to come in. So what I'm thinking right now, guys, because I'm honestly, I'm shocked at the 2-0 lead that KSC has taken over 07. The thing that is sticking in my mind is that we were concerned that KSC, we were like, well, it's going to be difficult for KSC as they've been playing all day. And then as I was watching the day, I'm thinking to myself, they've been playing so much better in the last 2 games than they've played all day. And I thought to myself, maybe the practice was actually useful. They're locked in. They're in the game. They know how to trade properly, and they know how to adapt when necessary. Because, again, even with the loss of Dastard early on, they still managed to outposition and outtrade when they needed to. I'm shocked.
They've played really well, but also realize that both of these games they've won have nearly gone almost all the way to time.
Right.
With a final second, literally last second kill, one way or the other, being the difference in the match. So they're, however we got here, these 2 teams are obviously very closely matched today, and it's been a great series so far.
Well, gentlemen, we have the replay ready. I'd love to go back to it as these guys look like they're going to be ready soon. So can we transition to that? Thank you. Man, I'm
blown
my heart's
away,
racing
man.
a million times a minute. Eskance, you want to run us through this?
I'm not gonna lie, my little pick was first one was 07, second one KSC, third one Bonk. So I'm just rocked by this, man. Okay, Bravo starts out double Stalin. There's radar, sure. There's 2 DDs. They're gonna play kissy stuff. Surprising at Alpha it turns out, it's a destroyer with an Ohio, destroyer with a Des Moines, but really they have the 07 has that, because it takes a long time before they figure, how are we going to take this cap? But eventually that destroyer is going to move forward, is going to drop a smoke trail, going to invite the Des Moines in. There's no radar for KSC at Alpha, so they can't detect it. They can't do anything about it. They just have to back off. And that's exactly what they do. A falls to 07. Now, C had been in the grasp of KSC for a long time. They used a lot of the health on that Kremlin that you see on that 10 line, and he got out, and they decided to go for the long play. They moved the Salem over. They're kind of getting some spotting. They're going to bring the Kremlin in for those big, big guns, but we're about to watch that light goes out. And the hope of every single KSC person went out with it too, because what are they going to do now? The Salem, the Marceau, they're not going to be able to push that. We saw how badly Hitaki got savaged over at the C-Cap, the Moskva in the north. The 07 Salem, the double DD, the Ohio in the back, the Stalingrad, they just have such a presence. There's no movement from C at all, which means something has to happen at Bravo. They pull a full health Marceau. They push Treyarch out of the cap at least long enough to be able to grab it, and it's tense. Right now, 07 still has the point lead, but there's two caps. 07 knows, well, we've got a health lead. We've got a position lead. We can take our time. They push in the Ohio. They're bringing in the Marceau. They're looking to make plays. And honestly, time ticks away. There's got to be something. They can't win this. We're going to see the Ohio. He's about to take some torpedoes, long-range torpedoes from a Shimakaze. Thunk, thunk, thunk. Now, if there was a moment where the Marceau for KSC thought, well, I just don't know if I can run that corner. I just don't know if I can YOLA down the Ohio. I might not be able to do it. The Ohio got taken down to half. It looked like that was the play, and the Marceau sat because he knew there were all those guns behind that Ohio just waiting to kill him as well. So, yeah, he'd probably take the Ohio, but he'd just get himself lost. And yet, I guess a Salem floored it up in Charlie. Just go, gets the radar off, somehow lights the gearing, somehow the shells land. Who saw that coming? Who saw that?
So I'm asking if Mario Dranko can throw the replay up and take it to about halfway through the match, because I was watching and there's something specific. Looks like I think he can fast forward it through OBS. There we go. Thank you, Mario Dranko. So, okay. Actually, maybe a little further after the Kremlin is dead. There's a moment further forward. There we go. Okay, Kremlin's coming down. So you see the Marceau and the Salem of KSC over there on the 10 line, about D10. There's still an Ohio. There's a Marceau. There's the Gearing who's going to wipe out the Kremlin here in just a moment. So at a moment here, the Marceau of KSC is going to leave after the Kremlin is dead. He's going to go into the C-Cap. The Salem is going to basically reposition itself, but he's going to be alone. Now, this is the moment, not quite yet, but as this Marceau leaves, the moment for that 07 Marceau to rush the Salem after the Salem backs up, turns around, goes around the corner. I think this is where 07 did not know where those two ships are. That would have been, in my opinion, I was like, that's the only place where 07 can actually come back in this, unless they just push the Ohio straight up the 10 line, which may have actually been the choice. I don't know quite with the Ohio in the north side of 07. I'm not quite sure why he chose to actually go towards. I would have suspected that he'd just be the battering ram that goes up there, up the 10 line, pushes that Salem out. If the Marceau tried to YOLO torp him, there is a lot of firepower around there. So I was thinking, what does 07 do in that scenario? They just sort of got wedged out. And I thought, I really don't know. I think that's the only time they could have actually made a decisive move. And they probably didn't know it because, again, the Salem with the T-Rex radar just can't quite spot everything KSC has.
Well, one other thing to make note of, though, the only way they lose is from a kill. And they knew with the Salem there, with the guns they had, that KSC was stuck. They couldn't leave C. That was suicide. And yet, I mean, when things get desperate, you just have to go. So that's what they did. They just had to push forward. They had to make something happen. And honestly, again, who saw the gearing as even a possibility of a kill? And yet, in just a flash of a blink, bah, oh my, what just happened? And the game went the other way. So it's not like they weren't playing to a win condition. They had a win condition. They had to live 3 more seconds, and then they won the game. But no. Now, I have a question for you. Over on that
Sure.
10 line, we saw Aussie, who was in a Shimakaze against a Gearing.
Right.
The Des Moines of John the Ruthless had pulled in. He was parked behind that island, which meant he did not have gun pressure on the Shima versus Gearing fight. And I think it was supposed that that Gearing was probably a unique upgrade, which means he's going to have like 15, 20% less damage. Was
Right.
there a possibility that Aussie could have just brawled that Gearing and maybe had superior gunplay? I know the Gearing's got better output, I suppose, but
Better
the Shima
DPM.
gun's no joke.
No, you're absolutely right. The Shima guns have the highest alpha strike of any of the, I want to say, lower caliber destroyer guns at tier 10. Obviously, there are destroyers like the Ragnar, I believe, has higher alpha, but God, I think it's 2100 HE alpha on the Shima guns. They are slow reloading, but they are accurate and they have high velocity at relatively short to medium ranges, which means they will land where you want them to land and they will hurt. So I don't know about that. I heard you mention that, or somebody mentioned that. Why doesn't the Gearing why doesn't the Shima just open up on the Gearing? And
I think that
at
was
that point, it might have been Zaf. At that point, I'm not sure because that's a tough one.
Yeah.
I would say, let me put it this way. If it was anybody other than an 07 player in that Gearing, I might have said, sure, take it. But I think it was Fryce. Fryce is an absolutely exceptional DD player. He will not miss his shots. And that sort of DPM in a Gearing against a Shima, I just don't know. I think also that KSC might have been practicing the sort of don't try to win more. Like find your way and then make your shots count when it matters. Don't risk winning more. Because if, let's say he gets into a bad altercation, Shima versus Gearing, and then he loses enough of his HP to the point where the Gearing goes, great, I can chase you now. Like that's not what you want. All Fryce needed to do was get into a position to start dropping torpedoes on man with an RX-7 or anybody who attempted to go into the B cap, which he did. So I get it. I definitely get it. I think that the both of them were playing conservatively to make sure that, hey, my job is to check you and to drop torps on your stuff. Your job is to check me and drop torps on your stuff. And I think they were probably both nervous about the idea of smacking each other with guns right out like that.
I could definitely get it. I mean, do you want to bet? Do you want to gamble on that Gearing having that unique upgrade and that maybe because he had a unique upgrade, he was like torpedo spec or something so that he could throw torpedoes a lot instead of actively looking to duel. And then maybe that's going to come out your way. I mean, worst case, even if it started to go bad, John the Ruthless might have been able to pull up a little bit, throw some shells. So yeah, definitely high risk. But I mean, like when you're watching the Indiana Jones boulder coming at your face, like you got to do something. You can't just stand there and stare at it. But that's exactly what KSC did. And it worked for them. And I just want to step back, and before we go into the next match, just look at that screen that's in front of us. KSC is one win away from becoming the king of the sea, if that's even possible. 07 completely known for the reverse sweep. People get, they start to feel like, oh, wow, I think we've got this. I think we've got this on lock. And then 07 just slams the door on them. This is not over by any means. But look at how surprised. Who would have thought this? Who would have thought this?
I mean, KSC, a great team, but they are at the moment they're pulling an 07 in a way. They're playing the safe game for the most part, and then they win with a kill at the end, which is it's such a move that 07 is normally used to. Let's go real quick to the North map, if we could, please, because these guys are ready. We want to talk real quick about the map. So I'm going to have them hold for just a moment while we transition to the next map, which is North. So about North, we've seen a number of games played on this today. You've got Dorito Island right there by C. Most of the time, we find the decisive move comes around the C cap on the 9-10 line. And again, without Venezia or Nevsky in these matchups, the A cap seems to be mostly what we saw at the A cap on Trap there, which is one destroyer and one cruiser or one battleship playing the destroyer chicken mating dance over there. So we'll just have to see how much gets committed to the 9-10 line and what kind of things get sprinkled around B to try and contest that B cap. We saw KSC very adequately defend the B cap against Bonks with a single Z52 backed up by a battleship. We'll have to see, I suppose, if 07 tries to commit to taking B, or whether they just say, hey, you know what? This is going to be a full 9-10 push. You have any thoughts?
Well, I mean, I would have to assume there's going to be some kind of smoke play, if only from KSC, because it's what they do. I think if KSC duels on the 9-10 line, they lose straight up. So they're going to have to make plays at A. I just don't think there's any other way, and I'm really anxious to see it. Looks like we're almost into that game. So, Zath and Sea Raptor, I hope you're warmed up for game 3.